AEW American Wrestling save for the TEW 9 demo. I'm the Phantom TEW, and I just want to say thank you for the support on the videos yesterday. We have passed 300 subscribers, which, when I started this channel, I didn't even expect anyone to even watch it. But so to have 300 people over subscribe to me is just insane. We're going to do the first part here. We're going to go through the new stuff on the first page. Before, I'll do a jump cut, and we'll get into the show. I don't intend to give anyone the night off tonight. I haven't really thought it through enough to know who I'd want to give the night off to. And so last week, we ran Texas, I believe. No? Where did we run last week? We were in Arizona. So, logically, you'd think somewhere around there. Maybe we'll do California. We'll do North Carolina. We'll do, no, that's south. Can you tell I don't know American geography? I don't actually know. We'll do Los Angeles. There we go. And the booking team meeting. We got we now have a maximum 250. So what I'm going to get an angle idea. Nicky Champion in an on-screen role. Cool. We're going to do a champion shoot promo. Simple as that. We'll go a gimmick idea. A safe bet. Okay. Any booster gimmick. And one more we'll go for character idea. I don't really know why, but we'll put this on Rick Money. Okay. Because we're getting 196 creative energy per show. We need something to spend it on quickly. So what's going on in our locker room? Knuckles wants to be used. How good are you at selling? Because if you're coming in, you're a jobber, and you can't sell. You can't really do anything. Like, unless Shady K was to also pop up, he's 6'6", 320, so could be a good giant for one of our guys to kill. But no, we're not going to. We've not got a spot for you tonight. Chad Brent is happy. And that's it. And we'll do a team bonding exercise, which just did a lot of strengthening of relationships. Love that. Let's get through to booking the show. I'll see you guys once it's all booked. The show in Los Angeles with a bit of a pre-show thing because I just wanted to test some of the new features in the angles. So I sent our 3 commentators out here, Belle Bryden, Rob Cornish and Emily McQueen, and they came out here just to warm up the crowd before the show. It's the classic thing you see like before your WWE events where your commentators come out, get their big entrances. You realise that they actually have music this entire time, you just didn't know it. We're doing that here. It's a 60 rating. Shows that actually if you've got people with good mic skills, just having people work the crowd is probably a good idea. And the show starts with Rick Law coming out to the ring. And he talks about the gauntlet out last week. He talks about most of the people in the match. He talks about DC Ray and Eddie Howard, who are going to have a match later on tonight. He talks about Regular Joe, who's going to be facing Rich Money tonight. He talks about Bash Street and his help with the Olympus group. and Julius Moore, and how his run was dominant, but he got stopped by that group. And then he comes on to Casey Valentine, and call it the Joe Hendry effect. Say his name, Casey Valentine comes out. And Rick says, look, Casey, I like you. I mean, I don't think we've ever been friends, but you're not someone who I have anything against. I mean, you had a great run with this belt last year. Almost 9 months you held this belt, and you made this belt prestigious. But I'm the one who's taken this to the next level now. You can try all you want. This is my title now. And I will fight you. But I am also going to beat you. Casey responds, going on about how, Rick, again, I do like you. As I said, we've never been close, but you're someone I respect. You're someone I look up to. And that's why I need to beat you. Because whilst you've been here a while, and while you're still here, there's no room for me. So I need to beat you. And I will beat you. Because Casey Valentine is the next star. Casey Valentine wants to be the next face of this company. And that starts with you. Gets a 66, 64 for Rick on his own, and a 68 for the two of them. And it advances the Law and Disorder storyline. Opening match sees Pariah take on the first of the Triantium, Glorious Gloria. She gets a 64, Gloria gets a 48. Advances the Alone and Surrounded story. It was a storytelling match, so I didn't expect it to be ridiculously good, but a 58 wrestling and a 58 crowd to get 64 is pretty good. The hot crowd is helping. Although, yeah, they both held back, obviously, because of storytelling, which makes sense. We then get a sit-down interview reported earlier in the night with Belle Bryden sitting down with Josh Thompson and Steve Fraley. And she basically just talks to all of their arguments they've had since November. The interferences on each other's, not behalf, but against each other. And at the end of the day, she just asks, what don't you actually like about each other? Because Josh, I look at you and I look at Steve, and you two aren't that dissimilar. Is this really a battle because you don't like each other? Or are you two men who are scared to look at yourselves in the mirror? That's the storyline I want to go with this one. I want to push the idea that these two are so similar, they hate each other. Gets a 68 rating, again, loses heat. We need to work on having to get these really good angles. I'm sorry if you guys can hear cars going past the background. There's a really lot of traffic going on outside at the moment, and for some reason, it's ridiculously loud. Rich Money defeats Regular Joe in 9 minutes. It's a pretty much, it goes through an ad break, and it's just Rich Money toying with Joe for most of the match. This is the full extreme of the rich man versus the working class blue collar guy. Rich just toys with him. You get a couple of really good hope spots, or at least I'd hope they would be really good. It's fantasy booking. I can just say they're really good. You get a couple of hope spots where Regular Joe gets like a near full or a big move. But in the end, it's pretty comfortable that Rick Money's going to win. Gets a 69. I mean, Rich Money is declining, which is perfect for this storyline, actually. Because he then starts talking. And, this didn't work the way I wanted it to. Not at all. This was a long segment, and it backfired on me. So Rich Money starts cutting a promo, and he started talking about how he is the star of USPW. He will beat Nicky Champion and show why business is booming. And Nicky Champion comes out, and he's just in jeans and a jacket, not in gear, and he starts cutting a promo. And he starts going like, no, Rich, you're not the future of this company. You never were the future of this company. And that's what always bugged you, hasn't it? Because you could never be me. Because I was the guy they wanted to be the top star. Not you. You'd been here, you served here. And yet you couldn't pull it off. You came back, you could not pull it off. You weren't a champion. You weren't a top guy. You were nothing but a tool to help others. And you know what? That's all you still are. And now it's even worse. Because you're just getting older and older and trying to cling on to what little success you had. You were a failure, Richard. You were a failure. And you get to go back and tell everyone that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be subtle about this anymore. You have pissed me off. He actually says that, which for a PG product, ambulance there, that'll be very noisy. I hope you didn't hear that. Which for a PG product is a big deal. And the camera just cuts to Rich Money, and he's just looks confused. Like, this isn't the Nicky Champion he's feuded with for a while. And the Nicky Champion continues. I'm not going to beat around the bush anymore. You came here because you thought you could be better than me. You weren't. You never will be. And you definitely aren't right now. You do not know the weight that this role brings. And if you even had an inch of it, it would crush you. So yeah, Nicky Champion goes on a shoot promo. He came up with the idea. I thought it'd be fun to give it a go. It backfired, although actually the first two segments got 74 and 79, which is really good actually. Rich Money both struggled and destroyed having the freedom. And Cooper Christie, Dusty Khan, Elizabeth Cartier attack Nicky Champion. Should have been Sterling Whitlock and Turk Treneman as well. They should have also attacked him. But we also know that Sterling Whitlock's actually a good improviser. Interesting. But the shoot promo idea was a success, even if it didn't pull it off in the rating. Tiffany Jade gets a big win over plucky underdog Faith McGee, and it goes to stoppage. The referee stops the match because Tiffany's just beating her up too much. And this is continuing the whole take me seriously. You will take me seriously or I will make you. It gets a 56 rating, a 53 wrestling, a 55 crowd rating. The heat bumps it up. Julius Moore cuts a promo. And essentially he says, Bash Street, I should have seen it coming. I knew you were in that gauntlet match. I knew I was going in before you. I knew eventually I would get to you. And I should have seen that you'd bring Zeus into this. So next week, we're both two big men. Let's take this let's settle this like the big men that we are in the center of the ring next week on American Wrestling. Julius Moore versus Bash Street. Moving on, we get the match I mentioned earlier, Eddie Howard versus DC Reign. Well, we never actually got to book this match in the game because we never see their feud because it happens in 2020 they were still a tag team, 2022 they're not. So this is us me booking the match. I'm not going to go back into the entire feud because that did happen, but they had their interaction in the gauntlet last week, and I thought it's fitting and a good narrative story feature to then give them two big rivals who've met up in a gauntlet, give them a singles match the week after. 66 for Howard, 58 for DC Reign. Definitely looks like they made the right choices to push. DC Reign's physically bad, or both of them are physically bad. That's not good. Don't like that. But 66 for Howard, 58 for Reign, 69, pretty nice. Danny Jilevsky is doing a voiceover for a video promo discussing the tag team match from last week. Cooper Christie and Turk Treneman, and Malik Chamberlain and Marcus English. So none of these guys, they're shown on screen because they get to do that. They're all part of the match. They're showing highlights of the match, including the big finish where one of them gets pulled out. Gets a 49. It's just a little something to continue this, and Danny discusses some of the potential things which could happen in the future. Little quick match here as Jillian Jarvis defeats Miss American Pie. Just a way to sort of build some women up. Gets a lockdown choke sleeper. Gets a 56, 51 for the crowd, 49 for the wrestling rating. The crowd is very hot right now. We get Enigma doing some training just backstage. We're sort of hyping up his return. Gets a 64. And the main event in a rematch from last week. Nicky Champion and Running Wolf, if I combine their names there, defeat Dusty DeCon and Sterling Whitlock. It's a rematch from the opening match last week, and this time it goes to a finish. Nicky Champion pinning Sterling Whitlock with a Hawkeye hammer. Rich Money was at ringside, but his heart wasn't in it when he interfered. What did we get overall? We get a 63. Pretty poor. We're still getting used to this new game. I'll give myself some credit for that. I still struggle to get good ratings in the early saves in the games I've played for years. Only the second show I've booked, I'm not going to be upset with losing Pop. It will get there. And the storylines is bugging me. But I'm pretty happy with that. Let's do the post-show stuff. No injuries, which is great. How do we do financially? Gained about 1.5. That's roughly the same as it was last week. And the popularity recap, again, big losses in the main regions, but we actually gained physical numbers in Europe and India, so I'm happy with that. Which actually makes me think this week's show was better than last week, so we are getting better. And no media scrum. And so, what do we get as the ratings? If it loads, because sometimes, you know what these games can be like sometimes with the loading. But, of course, what's important is what you guys think. So let me know in the comments down below what you did think. Let me know how you're finding this series. Let me know how you're finding the new game. We'll have another episode out tomorrow, once we've looked at the ratings, of course. Which will be next week's episode. The Wednesday the 19th of January 2022. Which, again, still feels weird not to just say Wednesday week 3. But I'm actually just going to call it here. I'll show you the ratings in the next episode. See you guys later. Oh no, here we are. We got 6.8, so we lost 200,000. Well, 150,000 roughly. This week. Not great. We'll try and win them guys back next week. Bye.